Have you ever wondered why almost all promises of eternal youth today are sold in jars, bottles, and capsules, rather than growing in the ground? Why we are so carefully shown concentrates, extracts, and powders, but almost never the living plants that create these substances? This is a strange paradox of our time. We believe in complex formulas, yet have forgotten how to trust simple things that outlive any trend. I want to begin with an image that has nothing to do with advertising. Imagine not a laboratory and not a health food store, but a quiet courtyard where the sun follows the same path across the sky every day, where time is not measured by deadlines, but by the changing of seasons. And in that courtyard, a bush grows. Not majestic, not decorative, not the kind people ask to photograph. Thorny, slightly untidy, with thin branches and small bright red berries that look almost too simple to be trusted. Yet it is precisely with such plants that the real story of longevity begins. This berry does not promise miracles. It does not speak loudly. In fact, it does not speak at all. It simply grows, year after year, decade after decade, and perhaps that is why people treated it for centuries with quiet respect rather than enthusiastic worship. Its name is goji, or wolfberry in the old language. And the most important thing to understand about it from the very beginning is that it was never invented for us. We simply looked past it for too long. Before goji became a word on packaging, it was part of life. It was not taken, it was eaten. It was not advertised, it was grown. It was not a symbol of health, but a part of everyday life, as natural as bread or warm water in the morning. People did not expect an instant effect from it, because their way of thinking was different. They thought not in weeks, but in years, not in results, but in states of being. Modern people are used to asking the same question, what will this give me? And preferably right away. But plants like goji answer a different question, one we have almost stopped asking. What can my body live with for a long time, calmly? This is a fundamentally different approach, because the body is not a mechanism that needs to be pushed, but a system that loves rhythm, regularity, and familiarity. Interestingly, goji is one of those rare examples where the very form of the plant reflects its philosophy. It fears neither cold, nor heat, nor poor soil. It does not require constant intervention, does not need chemical protection, does not become capricious over conditions. It grows as if it knows that everything temporary passes, but resilience remains. And this is exactly the quality people intuitively valued long before scientific terms and fashionable words appeared. When people today talk about a berry of youth, it sounds like a marketing ploy. But if you strip away the packaging and the loud phrasing, what remains is a simple idea, far deeper than any slogan. Youth is not age, but the body's ability to maintain balance. And balance is not created through abrupt interventions. It is built slowly, through nourishment that the body does not perceive as foreign. Goji was never a medicine in the sense we are used to. It was support. Support for vision, for energy, for overall condition, for the ability to recover. Not through stimulation, but through nourishment. Not through pressure, but through cooperation with the body. That is why its story is not a story about treatment, but a story about a long life without constant struggle against one's own body. And here a moment arises that has always struck me. We live in an era when information is more accessible than ever, yet knowledge has become fragmented. We know compositions, but not sources. We see extracts, but not plants. We buy results without understanding the process. And goji has become one of those examples where this gap is especially visible, because this bush has not disappeared. It has not gone extinct. It has not become inaccessible. It continues to grow quietly, stubbornly, without advertising, where it was once planted simply because people knew. This plant does not fail. It makes no promises, But it also does not demand blind trust. It proves its value through time. When you look at a living goji bush, it becomes clear why it will never become a symbol of quick results. It is about something else, about a life not measured in flashes, about nourishment that does not create dependency, about health that does not need to be constantly fixed because it is supported every day. And perhaps the most uncomfortable question in this story sounds like this. If such plants exist, if they are real, if they are resilient and time-tested, why do we so rarely speak of them as part of ordinary life? Why do we remember nature only when it is packaged in a jar? There are no accusations in this story. There is only an observation. We are used to looking where things are louder, brighter, and more expensive. And plants like goji never sought to be noticed. They were simply waiting for us to learn how to look again. If in the first part we talked about why this plant deserves attention at all, now it's time to take a step deeper and honestly discuss what it was truly valued for. Not in advertising slogans, but in real life. Because goji is not a beautiful legend or a trendy story. It is an example of how a plant can work with the body for years without aggressive interference or disrupting natural processes. Let's start with a simple but almost forgotten fact. Goji was never regarded as just one thing. Its power does not lie in a single compound, a single effect, or a quick result. This plant has always been valued for its density of nutrition, for the sense that a small amount provides the body with more than it seems at first glance. That is why it was not eaten by the handful or turned into a cult. It was added to everyday meals, allowing the body to receive support regularly and without overload. In traditional use, goji held a special place because it belonged to so-called supporting plants. This means it was taken not when something had already broken, but when the goal was to prevent anything from breaking for as long as possible. It did not stimulate sharply or suppress symptoms. It worked on the level of endurance, recovery, and the body's resilience to stress, aging, and external conditions. One reason goji remained in the daily diet for so long was its connection to vision. And this is not about miraculous improvement, but about supporting eye tissues, especially under constant strain. This knowledge existed long before screens, long before artificial light, long before digital strain. People noticed that regular consumption of the berries helped maintain clarity of vision, particularly in later years, and this observation was passed down through experience rather than studies. The second important area is energy, but not the kind that energy drinks and stimulants teach us to expect. Goji's energy is not a surge or a spike. It is the absence of sharp drops. It is the ability to remain capable longer without feeling the body is running itself into exhaustion. That is why this plant was valued by people whose lives involved physical labor, long days, and repetitive strain. They did not need an illusion of vitality. They needed stability. Equally interesting is how goji interacts with recovery. It was never used separately from food because it was considered part of nourishment, not a supplement. This is an important point often overlooked today. When the plant is consumed whole, it works not through isolated compounds, but through their combination. The body receives not a signal, but building material. Not a command, but support. It is also worth noting that goji is one of the rare plants equally valued by the young and the elderly. It was not prescribed by age. It was considered universal because it did not overload the body's systems. For the young, it helped recover after exertion. For the elderly, it helped maintain stability and clarity. This is a very subtle balance that cannot be artificially created, but is often found in plants shaped by centuries of natural selection. There is one more aspect rarely mentioned because it does not sell well. Goji does not create dependence. You do not feel the need to keep increasing the dose. It does not create an effect that must be continually added to. From the perspective of a living organism, this is a huge advantage. Anything that requires constant dose escalation sooner or later begins to work against the body. Anything that can be used for years without increasing the amount usually proves to be the most reliable. Viewed from the perspective of modern science, it becomes clear why this plant fits so naturally into the concept of long-term nourishment. There is no imbalance toward one side. It does not hit one system while ignoring the rest. It works gently, multi-layeredly, and that is precisely why its effect is difficult to describe in a single phrase. It is not, wow, in 3 days. It is, I feel more stable over the years. And here we arrive at something almost entirely forgotten today. The body values not peaks, but balance. Most problems arise not from a deficiency of a single thing, but from constant imbalances. Plants like goji do not create imbalances. They seem built into the very idea of sustaining life rather than fighting it. Interestingly, even the way goji was consumed has always been simple. It was added to food, to warm dishes, sometimes to drinks, but never treated as separate from the diet. The plant did not demand special conditions because its role was not to stand out, but to complement. And in this lies a certain wisdom that now seems almost revolutionary. We live in a culture of quick fixes, but the body operates by different laws. It does not understand urgency. It understands repetition. And this is precisely where goji proves to be surprisingly modern, despite its age. Because it teaches us not to rush, but to build a relationship with nourishment that can be sustained a lifetime. In the second part of this story, it was important to show not magic, but logic. Not legends, but practice. Not promises, but principles. Because goji is valuable, not for what is said about it, but for how it fits into the lives of those who use it, not as a product, but as part of their environment. And then, when you see a goji bush in person, the real discovery begins. It is not just a berry, it is an entire mini-system of health. Every branch, every leaf, and every berry work in coordinated harmony. Nothing superfluous, nothing artificial, everything created by nature to support the body, not to push it. The berries are astonishingly versatile. They retain nutrients even during long storage, are incredibly rich in unique polysaccharides and antioxidants, and the combination of all components makes them nearly impossible to replicate in a laboratory. And here lies the first magic. The whole berry produces an effect that no powder, concentrate, or juice can match. Remarkably, this plant is incredibly productive. A single goji bush can bear fruit for decades, with berries ripening from July to October, while the bush itself remains alive and resilient even in challenging climates. It endures heat, frost, drought, and wind, all without chemical protection. Its thorny branches protect the berries themselves, and its leaves repel insects. There is a wisdom in nature here. The bush works for itself while simultaneously supporting everything around it. It is a true living superfood, usable every day without depleting the plant or disturbing its balance. But the most incredible aspect is the nutritional power of the berries. They contain all 8 essential amino acids, rare polysaccharides, carotenoids, vitamins, and minerals in a unique combination. These substances support immunity, protect vision, aid recovery from stress, improve metabolism, and help maintain energy throughout the day. Imagine, a small berry can gently and subtly support all these functions without sharp spikes, stimulation, or a temporary energy boost. It simply works, and you feel it gradually and naturally. Every goji bush is like a small health factory. It can be propagated by cuttings. Cut a branch, plant it in the ground, and within a month you have a new bush. Within a couple of years, it will produce its first berries and then continue to bear fruit for decades. And the berries do not lose their properties, season after season, year after year. You can literally create your own source of superfood in your backyard, providing fresh fruit for many years, entirely free of cost. Here's another remarkable fact. Goji berries support the body at the cellular level. Research shows that polysaccharides and antioxidants protect cells from damage, slow the aging process, and strengthen the body's natural defenses. They help tissues recover, preserve muscle strength, and maintain mental clarity. This is not a myth. It is observation confirmed by laboratory research, and the results manifest without chemicals or artificial stimulants. Imagine that a single plant can simultaneously support vision, immunity, metabolism, energy, and endurance. And all of this works not through instant effects, but through constant, gentle support if the berries are included in the diet throughout the season. This is why, in regions where goji grows naturally, people traditionally lived longer and remained active even in old age. This is not a fairy tale or a legend. It is a practice tested over centuries and a benefit confirmed by modern research. But the most amazing aspect of goji is its accessibility. It grows almost anywhere there is sunlight and well-drained soil, from USDA zones 5 to 9. The bush sustains itself, reproduces, protects itself from pests, and yet remains a source of berries every year. And all of this happens without human intervention. You don't need super extracts, expensive supplements, or rare shipments. All it takes is to plant a bush, provide minimal care, and you get berries that work for your health for decades. And if you think about it, it is incredible. We search for the secret of youth on store shelves, buying jars, powders, and concentrates, spending hundreds of dollars, while the real wonder that supports the body comprehensively grows right under our feet, entirely free and effortlessly. Goji berries are like a key to a health system created by nature itself, waiting for someone ready to notice it. Every berry is a small superfood with a vast story. It was born to sustain life. It does not promise instant changes. It does not require advertising or packaging. It simply exists. And if you are ready to include it in your diet, your body will begin to feel the support that we often tried to find in synthetic supplements before. And here is what I want you to understand. A goji bush is not rare, exotic, or a marketing object. It is a living plant that is easy to plant and grow, supports health for decades, and never demands large sums of money. It grows for itself while simultaneously supporting those who are ready to notice it. This is where the true magic lies. When we stop chasing instant effects and start trusting nature, it gives us far more than any jar of superfood ever could. Goji is a living, generous, long-living partner in your health. And everyone who plants a bush gains the opportunity to be part of this magic. It has not disappeared. It was never rare. It did not require complicated care. It simply grew, supported, reproduced, and bore fruit for decades. And now, knowing its secret, you can witness that real strength and health are found in living berries growing in the ground, not on store shelves.